Okay. So this matchup is kind of difficult. The Paladin is really heavily favored to win, just because Priest has no good way of dealing with 1-1s. We don't have a ping, we don't have like counter 1-1s, and both classes are really board dependent. So once the Paladin gets on board and keeps the Priest off, the Priest probably won't get back on board without some crazy comeback. Maybe we'll see that with MC Tech. So this deck actually doesn't have that much early game, so that's kind of why we kept the Museum Creator, although it's not good for tempo. Here, this needs to look like a good pick, but I'm more worried about board control, so I'll take this. Otherwise, we have to play at MC Tech, which is quite a lot of stats lower than Dark Cultist. And generally, this game will be decided very early on. Like by turn 4, you'll know whether you're gonna win or not as in this matchup. It's an interesting play. So instead of popping the Dark Cultist, I think I'll just get the free kill. I'll play Mech or regular Yeti over Mech Yeti. Like the later we get the spare part, the better. I don't want him to get lucky. Generally, is the thought. Like we could get lucky as well, but I'm just good enough that we don't need some random element affecting the game. So this is big turn. He could play Blessing of Kings, True Silver. Even Consecration wouldn't be bad. He would get a board clear, but we would get initiative. There's actually a lot of ways to do this. Generally, when Paladins play Secret, it's between Noble Sack and Avenge. Sometimes you'll see a Redemption, and then even rarer than that is Repentance, and then no one really picks Eye for an Eye or Sacred Trial. I'm thinking that we do this first. This is good in case of Noble Sack and Avenge. If it's Avenge, then we can trade up, and we don't have to use Mana Heal. Then we just develop 5. Not buff with the Yeti. I'm like thinking about ways that Paladin comes back on board. He has equality, or he has like not equality. He has Consecration, True Silver, and this plays right into True Silver. So I was thinking about buffing this, but if we do, and he has a way to remove it anyways, then the Yeti would be in A-bomb Death Rattle range, which would be really bad. So we do have the free kill on that thing. We could heal hit. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll develop the other Yeti. Some more high health dudes. So turn 4 is pretty big for Paladin. He had a chance to seal on turn 3 on his MC Tech to remove our Dark Cultist, and it would have buffed the Museum Curator, and he didn't. Could be a bad decision from him, but we'll just keep that in mind. You always have to, like, those are the cards you really want to keep track of when you play against Paladin. Is the buff cards like Blessing of Kings and Seal of Champions. Like, you got to think, would it be good on this turn? And if it was, then would my opponent have used, like, why he would have used it so he does not have it? And if you keep track of that, you'll usually be pretty good against Paladin. We do bop and save them both. He's playing so slow that I actually think he might be playing like an MC Tech or even like an Equality Consecration. I suppose we could do this. I'm not gonna play around MC Tech, and if he does steal the MC Tech, we get a pretty good trade. Like at best, he can steal the 5-4 if we trade up with the 4-1. So we have a lot of targets to heal here, and we also have a lot of cards to go through. At this point, I'm thinking that it's like less worth it to develop or like heal, and it'll be better to just develop cards just to try to like turn our cards into tempo. I will try for Sacred Trial though. This doesn't really matter if we lose that card. So let's see. Okay, not Sacred Trial. Think about double sack. Guess we could hit him with this guy first. Check face here. Although if it is Avenge, we do this. This guy kind of dies. Guess we have to check with this guy. I don't want to take damage on the A-bomb. Two off lethal, huh? I'll pop it. And Avenge. We'll just keep board control here. I'm actually gonna develop the sledge. So even though we didn't take Shredder, or Sneed's old Shredder, just getting the Dark Cultist got us ahead because he played an underdrop. He played the MC Tech, which, and also made kind of a bad trade. He should have saved his 2-2 Ironforge from dying to our Dark Cultist. But nonetheless, getting like the good early game card against Paladin helped a lot more than probably Shredder would have. Okay. We have 9, 10, 12 still. 4 off lethal. 2 off if we do... 1 off if we do this, actually. Okay. Just bop in here, bop in here. Just keep his board clear. And don't really give him a chance to make a comeback. There's nothing we're really playing around. You gotta think, even with like Equality Consecration, like that's the 2-card combo, we'd have 3 cards, and then we'd have 5 cards, and a spare part in hand, and he'd be really low. Yeah.
The victory is yours.
Okay. Let's look at our deck real quick. So you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 late game cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 drops. 1, 2, 3. 3 drops. 2, 3, 4. 2 drops. I don't... Bluegill's kind of like half a 2 drop, since half the time it's like an actual play on 2. And the other half, your opponent has like a ping hero power, or it's just not good. If your opponent has like a 2-3, you can't play because it doesn't challenge. Same thing with the Shadow Word Death, you're not playing that on 3. And the deck doesn't really have any removal. We have 1 Shadow Word Death and 1 Powered Shield. Those are our only spells. So minion heavy deck, and it is a heavy deck itself. 12 late game cards is a lot. Like usually you want to go for like around 3 to 8 depending on the class. Like 3 to 8, 3 to 10 is fine. So 12 is a whole lot, especially for a priest with no comeback tools. Just try out a couple more games. This deck does really good against like other control classes. We do have the Shadow Word Death. Although we don't have mind control, we do have a very like heavy deck. So if we ever like match up against like druid or priest or mage, we're just gonna get a lot of card advantage from our bigger dudes. Oh, there he is. And we really want to avoid just like faster classes with this deck. Since like this game, last game, and even the game before the last one, we started with the Museum Curator. Museum Curator is pretty good here. I will coin it out. If he plays a 3-2, we can follow with Bluegill. If not, like following up with heal isn't so bad. And yeah, Dark Cultist is a good card. Oh, we also have Entomb. Almost forgot about that one. That's actually really annoying. Wow. You don't run into this very often. So the question is to Bluegill or not to Bluegill. Like we have our turn 3 Dark Cultist coming out. Like Lost 12 Strider probably will be the play on 4. Because very likely he will be able to play remove the Dark Cultist, so he'll be on his turn 3. Like the Knife Juggle could hit, or he could just trade with the 1 and the 3-2. That means we don't really have a heal target. So if you imagine we don't play Lost 12 Strider on 4 and we go for like a Bluegill heal play, we have nothing to heal but our face, which isn't good in Arena. You want to always be developing with mana or like removing your opponent's developed minions. So it looks like we should Bluegill. That way you can play on curve. And also this gives us a chance if his 3-drop misses, he has to trade here and then he might have to detempo on 4 to remove the Dark Cultist. Okay. So he's in that spot. Like this is a little bit better since he has a Death Rattle. Gets that extra juggle. But you can imagine if you had like a 4-drop and a 3-drop that did not trigger the Knife Juggler, it'd be a decision to make whether to slow down or not. Or else, and if he did not slow down, we'd get the free kill on the Knife Juggler. Okay, nothing to do, just develop. So although this is a good matchup, we just did not have a good start, and that will usually be the case with this deck. Just the card quality is not very high, and there's no comeback tool in this deck. Okay. 589. Seems like a pretty obvious Sunwalker. Maybe not so obvious. We could always just Reckless go in. The problem is it's 2-5. Just don't have a good way to deal with it. I will just Sunwalker though. The 2-5, although we don't have a good way to deal with it, it also doesn't like kill any of our minions, so it's not like threatening to out-tempo us. We have to get a little bit lucky with the juggles though. Okay, not like that. So we're dangerously low. I kind of want to just like Haunted Creeper and Stringhorn Tiger. He'd be one off lethal. You just need one juggle to hit at 25%. The reason why I want a Tiger and Haunted Creeper is it's the most we can develop on this turn, and if we're gonna change the direction this game is going, we need more guys on the board. The other play is to trade here and Reckless Rocketeer, which does leave him just hero powering to remove our board, and then his 6-drop will be another threat, which we could out-tempo with a Shadow Word Death. But I'm gonna go for the play I think is more likely to win, which is just developing the board. So there, we died either way, because you could always just hero power and you'd have 6 with the Acolyte. That's why Museum Curator is not very good. You kind of just like detempo yourself, but so Shaman is very similar to Priest. I'll keep this 3. Shaman is really similar to Priest. We can't flag down his totems with our hero power. So we're going to... Wait, Shaman is very similar to Priest. It's very similar to Paladin, sorry. It's very similar to Paladin that just fills the board, and it's also very board reliant. He's got to keep his board clear of totems. This is a much better start than we had last game. Okay. Could still develop a 2-drop. Alright. Healing here doesn't do anything. So we'll just play the Emperor. So this board trades. He's pretty much just has the coin lead from last turn, but this is not a bad spot to be in, since every turn we'll be developing the card that costs 1 more on top of his card that costs 1 less. We gotta be very, very careful in games like these where like no one really has tempo advantage or card advantage. And usually these are the kind of games where you like play around Hex by like not playing something too big. Play around Hex and Lightning Storm a lot. Anything to just like turn the tides a little bit. Do this, and I'll even bop in. It's fine to bop in. He gets to trade on a 3-1, but both of these guys trade really well. Either he's trading down or he can't trade up. Okay, so like the first time they your opponent uses like their hero power to do nothing like this, he could have just developed a 2-drop or a 4-drop. This kind of gives us a read on his hand. So now we know that he doesn't have a 2-drop or a 4-drop in his hand, or else he would have just dropped the 4. So that's pretty good information we got. I'll just make the obvious trades and develop the biggest thing we have. So at this point, I'd say we stabilized. We should even think about healing our face next turn, because he could play the Draconid as a 9/9 if we don't, and we don't have Shadow of Death to deal with it. I don't really want to entomb in trade turns. I want to try to get ahead. Okay.
Death does not scare me.
Can we get away with a heal? Now that the Death Lord's out, I don't think so. So I was thinking we could heal and slow down because he slowed down, or we were ahead enough, but not anymore. Because the Death Lord's so overstated, I think we gotta start pressing more guys on the board. Like another good way to think about it is like if he does play the Draconid, we do have the 6/6 on board already, so he's not going to be hexing it, so we can get value off it. Maybe even finish off the Death Lord with it. But yeah, Paladin and Shaman are probably like generally, and not just with this deck, just generally like a Priest's worst matchup. Just because they have like all like very similar win conditions, which is having like a very healthy board. But Paladin and Shaman have a lot of good removal cards, especially Shaman. And Paladin just has like powerful buffs. It's very hard for a Priest to compete in that arena. Okay, I will pop here. Pop here, pop here, pop here. See what we get. Think about Lightning Storm. I'll heal this guy. Even buff this guy up. Should have power shielded first, but I'd say this game is pretty over. Pretty unlucky. And here he's not making a comeback, so we'll just clear his board. And especially without totems, he's not making a comeback. I'll try to preserve our Entomb, or just like keep it in hand, because the only way he does come back is with Deathwing. So we play around our like only lose condition. It's pretty smart. Get this dude out. Not gonna kill off our Senjin. Okay. Guess he could have also bursted us down. That's true. Okay. It'd be nice if we can play a game against Mage. What are we missing? Like, we already played against like a very like removal heavy class, shaman. Slow class, slow control, druid. I'd say that paladin deck we faced was pretty swarmy as well. Okay. So once again, we don't have very many twos. Think about keeping it. I keep the Iron for Grizzly too then. Like if we're already planning to play this on 2, might as well get our follow-up. Alright, looks like we know what is very likely our next 4 turns. Okay, that's better. So the way I think about this deck is if we just survive and we like keep within like 3 mana, I'd say if we get like 4 mana behind, we're not coming back unless we are against Classic Druid, which we can get that mana back if we do something like Shadow or Death and Iron Bark. It's like a 5 mana gain. It's very hard to get like those huge mana gains against other classes. Generally, like the biggest thing you will Shadow or Death is like a Boulder Fist, like usually a 6 drop, and that's still just a 3 mana gain, and you have to fit it into your curve as well, which is somewhat situational. But if we can keep within 3 mana of our opponent, I'd say that like our deck will eventually outcard our opponent's decks, and that's what I'm trying to do with this deck. Okay. So what does that tell us? That like if the player is not very good, then it doesn't tell us anything. But if he is playing smart, that means he doesn't have a 4-drop, or else he would have just dropped it. He could have a 4-drop that trades down, like a 4 mana 5/3 or a 4 mana 5/2, something like that. But if he had a 4-drop, he could just coin that out to kill Ironfur for free. I'd even say that most players would try to save swipe and even play a 2-drop there if it was a 3/2. So he probably doesn't have a 2 mana 2/3 in his hand. Okay. So, just as expected, did not have a good play. And this is his Drew the Claw turn. And he will like almost definitely have Drew the Claw here just because he missed so much mana. It's hard to imagine him playing like a bad quality card here, or else his deck or his hand is like really heavy. It's usually easier to make these kind of reads when you go higher up in the wins because the decks will be a little bit more uniform. Okay. Interesting. We actually don't mind that much. What gives us more problems than that is just him playing Drew the Claw, since we don't have a good way to deal the extra points of damage. I guess that's like one thing about this deck as well. We don't have ways to like trade up. We don't have a single Dark Iron Dwarf or Abusive, or even like a Lance Carrier. So I don't want to double trade. I think I'd rather just like I guess we could recombobulate if we hit in. I think that's worth it. Let's try it out.
Let's negotiate. You can see.
That is extremely tempting. That is extremely tempting. We have to sack off our Priest of Elune though. I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just do this. And I'm not going to trade down. I'm just going to allow this to kill for free. It trades a lot better. And we'll plan to heal next turn. So once again, like not healing goes along with the whole idea of not wanting to get behind in tempo. Like we have a heavy enough deck that we're not too worried about card advantage. At this point where we've drawn a lot of our early game cards, like every other draw will cost 5 or more. But I will heal here. Okay. Oh my god. I'm hitting here. If you think about like what he would play here, it's like Ironbark, and we know he has a really heavy hand. And by trading here and for going 5 damage, we deny him the hit on Divine Shield. So we don't even have to Hex next turn, we can just pop the shield in and trade the 5-3. And we'd much rather do that because we may run into something bigger than an Ironbark. And we just use the Hex then. So, like pressuring, like always keeping in mind like what turns like certain classes have like powerful cards on. And if they're on that turn, like let's say like you know how you play like play around like True Silver, Consecration. You do the same thing with like minions. You play around Water Ellie, and you make them want to use their hero power, so you don't play the Water Ellie, or you make the Druid want to hero power, so they don't play Ironbark.
Time waits for no one. Squire, attend me.
Ready, sir.
I am ready.
Oh wow. He didn't. Okay. Okay. I should have done this first, but yeah, this is pretty sick. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I'll just do it. We pretty much have like 2 Sylvanuses or 2 Sneeds here. Six, 10, 19. So we never, like whenever you play class, and it's more obvious for some classes and some decks than others, like you want to know like whether your win condition is like face damage or not. Like with this deck, it really is not like ever a priority to hit face. We'd rather just like make the board look like terrible from their side and good from our side for trades. That's kind of going along with why we killed the 1 damage dude with the 5. Okay. So keep trading. It'll help us play around Savage Roar stuff. But this game is pretty over. At this point, you could say that there's like nothing that could put him ahead. There's like no combination of cards. Like even Deathwing would leave him 3 cards behind. Alright, and we'll do one more game. We'll do one more game here. I want to see if I can play against like a mage. Another slow class. It's interesting. Mage and Priest are kind of like opposites. It may seem like Hunter and Priest are opposites, but just the way you play them in Arena. Like Mage gets value off not having any board with their like AoE, right? And then Priest gets value off having a board and being able to heal those minions. So this is a class I would just classify as being like rushy slash like very removal heavy. And generally, priests don't do so well, because if you think about like things that get rogue ahead, things like Backstabber, Eviscerate, Deadly Poison, Just them being able to control like the tempo of the game makes it very difficult for Priest to get any like buffs off or heals off onto the minion, which would gain us the tempo advantage. And it sounds like Priest has a lot of like, it sounds like every class is a bad matchup, but it's just because Priest is not very good in the meta at the moment. But generally you can do okay with Priest as long as you just keep in mind your win condition. See a lot of like weird plays from other Priests where they just kind of like press face damage a little bit too much instead of preserving their board. Okay, I'm not going to coin out Shadow Boxer because we don't have a follow-up. Next turn we Shadow Boxer and even coin Powered Shield if we need it. Okay, this is not where we need it. Like this does die deadly, but we could always Iron for coin Powered Shield.
Separate lines, please.
I'll coin out Lost Strider. It trades really well on this board. And also, we do have a follow-up next turn with 3-4. It's like playing Ascension on turn 4.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Okay. It's a bit of a problem. I have a pretty good feeling about MC Tech this game. How do we make it so MC Tech is good? Like with him having played the 3, 1, and 2, and then on an empty, well, near empty board, we have the 2, 3 out. He hero powered past, and he didn't have deadly poison. He doesn't have another 2-drop. Because very easily he could have deadly poisoned and then played a 2-drop on turn 3. Or he could have just played the 2-drop on turn 2. So he's not going to play 2-3. On turn 5, it's not very likely for a combination of 1-4 either. So he's just going to drop 1 minion. So if we play something that trades, then we're not MC attacking next turn and we don't have to play it next turn. I guess we don't try to bait it. It's not going to happen next turn, but it may happen on a future turn. So let's see. So this is why MC Tech is bad. You never want to like put your opponents in a position where MC Tech works, because that's almost always a losing position. Okay. Just play the Heckler. Seems obvious enough. You could also miss with the Ogre Ninja, which would be great, and we can get the free trade on. Okay, he's gonna force it. Two might be a bit slow. Although if we Argent Commander and they choose to trade, we don't have a good way to finish off a 6-2. But there's no way you can get good trades with this current hand. But even if we just MC Tech and Shadow Word Death, the 5-4 gets a good trade on the 3-3. So he has a coin. He could play 3-3 here. That'd be pretty good. My first impulse is Shadow or Death here and Senjin. And we have a 50% chance of it not killing the Senjin, which would be great, because then we get a good trade on the Wild Pyro. I think I will go for that. Don't really see anything else that makes sense. Because what we're fighting for here is not our life, it's just board presence. And killing this for free would help us remove his board presence.
So many options.
So if you think about the turn that would kind of like turn this game around, it was a Shattered Sun turn. This is why Shattered Sun is so powerful. Like against a lot of classes that don't ping, like Priest, having that Shattered Sun be a 3-1 really does slow down your opponent quite a bit, because they have to deal with the leftover. Okay. How do we win this? This needs to die. If we entomb, we die, because he has 4 damage and we can only heal with entomb. The other choice is Refreshing Vendor, heal face. This could kill the Refreshing Vendor, but it would be a 9-2. We have no way to deal with the 9-2. If we play this, it could trade. So, and it also gets us out of range of his weapon. So, but I mean, good news wise, like we're. Oh, I guess he could have done that. I didn't see that actually. Okay. So yeah. I don't actually see this Priest deck going much further. The cards are a little bit too weak, especially the early game cards. And just like the cards throughout, I guess, are all just like really weak. But yeah, that's Priest. And I'll be doing a couple more of these. I'll try to do one with every class, where I try to like go as in depth as I can. And just like talk about like how the class works. But if you enjoyed that, great, and I'll see you guys next week.